Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ Review, number 221. And I am Virtue, being joined by this week's elite panel of the review. Of course, Aaron Rift is here, as always, from NoDQ Central, NoDQ headquarters. Colin the Cleaver Andrew is back. Walter Cruz is in the house. And making his return, Noah, the simple man, Foster. Noah, what up?
Not a whole lot. Good to see y'all again. Hello, NoDQ family and Galaxy. It's good to be back on the review. Looking forward to conversating about all sorts of things wrestling with you. Just recovering from a cold and getting ready for work tomorrow as we head into Rumble Week. So looking forward to the night.
Hey, and if you hear some distraction, some noise on my end, the plows are outside. I got a huge bay window, and you can hear everything out on the street. So
gotcha.
The plows, yeah, that's where we're at here in Northeast Ohio. Colin, you're in Northeast Ohio. What's up?
Oh, dude, it's been a heavy snow today. Like, I went to my nephew's wrestling match this morning, and the 2 hours we were in there, it snowed 3-4 inches. Yeah, what's going on? Happy to be here. Shout out to Tito in the chat. We got some good topics, so let's get the ball rolling.
Oh, we do. We always do here on the review. Hey, Walter. What's up? Yeah. What's up with your shtick this week?
Not much. Doing well. It's Rumble Week, which means we're inching closer and closer to WrestleMania. So just getting ready to do this.
Well, are we ready to get started? Aaron, when are you doing predictions, official predictions? Is that Thursday night now for the Royal Rumble?
Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Mr. Tito's always like, man, I missed the review on Thursday night. Well, that leaves Aaron the opportunity to do predictions before PLE or pay-per-view. Nice. We can schedule some debates. What else do we got? We could always do the review on a Thursday night if, like, Aaron's busy on a Sunday or against the Super Bowl. We'll probably move it around. So, hey, stay tuned if you like Thursday nights. We'll do some stuff. Aaron, what's up?
I'm doing good. A little bit of snow here in Metro Detroit, but not like you guys. We do not get the lake effect snow, which I guess I'm thankful for because I've heard it's a bitch to deal with. Walter Cruz sent in the first super chat of the evening. Thank you, Walter, for supporting the channel. He says, hello, everyone. Yes. To review number 221, like, share the video, hashtag stick to my shtick, and hashtag feel merchy. You got the merch, Walter. Show it to everybody.
You can get this on nodq.com/merch.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to tonight. Noah, it's great to have you back. And you have to tell me, when is the next pay-per-view that's going to be in that country? And what is that country called?
Wait, we're talking about the other side of the world, right? I don't know. It's weird because last year in February, I could have sworn there was something in country, but I think this year it's actually in Canada, eh? So I don't know. I'm curious.
Country redacted.
That place.
Thank you for that, Noah. Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $2 super chat. Says, I live in Florida. What is snow? LOL. Yeah,
crazy.
You do not know what snow is if you live in, say, Miami, Florida. That is just not a thing. But anyways, we are ready to get started. We miss Big G being on the NoDQ review. Hopefully we'll get him back on soon. He's still starstruck by Jeff Jarrett. He'll never, ever be the same again after seeing Double J Jeff Jarrett at that Dynamite. And he's hoping Jeff Jarrett does not get future endeavored by the next Dynamite that rolls into his neck of the woods in Pennsylvania, because he wants to buy a ticket specifically to see the chosen one, the man with all the stroke in AEW, good old Double J, Jeff Jarrett. Anyways, let's get started. Ain't he great?
All right, so we do this from time to time when somebody passes away, and this one, totally unexpected. And I hate hearing about any traffic accident, you know, whether you know the people or not, because it's like you put yourself in that position. Like, I was driving down the road. Like, there was a bad accident here where I live over the weekend, Saturday. It's a 220 split heading into Madison, Ohio. And it's just, you hear what happened with Jay Briscoe, and the daughters were in the car. They were the tag team champ. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, to me, you can't put words on stuff like that. Whether you were a fan of his or not, if you're wrestling fans, it kind of affects you. So Noah Foster, I'm going to start with you. Jay Briscoe tragically passed away this past week. Any thoughts, remembrances, anything you want to say? You know, we can keep it short and sweet, but you know, he was a legend in the Ring of Honor world, and he never made it to WWE with his brother. Maybe that, you know, that's a shame. Shame on you, WWE. Noah Foster.
I mean, again, it's one of those things you just don't take life for granted. As good old JR says, tomorrow's never guaranteed. I literally was almost in an accident today on the way to church when we veered off into the other side of the lane. Thankfully, there was no ongoing traffic. So in just a moment, everything could be taken away that you might think, oh, it's nothing. I just first off want to pray the best in the road to recovery for both of his daughters and, of course, Ashley. Strongest of prayers and emotional and physical support. As far as Jay Briscoe's memory goes, multiple time, heavily accoladed tag team champion, not just Ring of Honor. He worked across Pro Wrestling Noah and NJPW, which, of course, they honored him this morning on the Yokohama Arena Wrestle Kingdom show. He, of course, was a huge influence on many great talents in both the WWE and AEW. Two-time Ring of Honor World Champion. I still go back, and I literally was rewatching some of his promos with his brother, whether or not he was talking about Aussie Open, who gives a bleep about them, or whether he was feuding with his own brother or being counseled or feuding with the likes of Kevin Steen and Adam Cole Day. It's really something where, as a fan, you look at this talent that you lose in a bunch of what ifs that have yet to happen versus what has happened. And that's another aspect when you look at this guy was a father and a husband. And I'm sure some people here in the chat and others can relate that now that family has to grow up without that influence. As someone who's been without a father since junior high school, I can definitely relate. So my heart goes out to the family. And as far as tag team wrestling and Ring of Honor, it's never going to be the same again because the Briscoes were the foundation of Ring of Honor's tag team wrestling division. As far as I'm concerned, I want them to retire those classic titles and start anew, but it's never going to be the same again. And my prayers and thoughts go out to the entire family.
Yeah, well said. Colin, I'm going to pass it over to you. And, you know, like I'm not trying to turn this topic into, you know, heated discussion. Shame on Warner, Discovery, whoever, right? Like, let's not do a tribute show. And I know Ring of Honor isn't AEW, but Tony Khan owns it all. Because of the, you know, past tweets, did he apologize? Like, well, cancel culture, just please go away. Like, I don't, that really ticked me off. And I don't know, but what's your thought? I had to get that in there in case anybody wanted to comment on that. I know they did what they could.
Yeah.
But, like, I just hate that. I hate the world we're in when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I'm glad you talked about it versus me ranting about it because I'm trying to be civil and simple tonight. So thank you.
Yeah, I would rant on that too. Like I'm so sick of that culture.
Yeah, you know, it's the network bigwigs, whatever. But okay, go ahead, Colin.
So with Warner doing the block on that, I think is complete. It's just complete bullshit. You know what happened a decade ago. He's apologized immensely for it. He donated a couple months of his pro wrestling salary towards a cause to help. You know what I mean? Like, they still blocked him like that. But, you know, Dana White's still on TV, and he just hit his wife.
I put that right on Twitter. And
you know what I mean? But, you know, that's a different discussion for a different time. The news was super shocking, and as a dad, like, I feel for those little girls so much. I saw a picture that his wife posted online of them in the hospital bed, and like one had his head up here, her head up here, and the other one had her head up here, and they were holding hands, and that just struck a real heartstring. So to those little girls, keep your head up. You know, your dad was he had a lot of influence on a lot of people. I watched him in Ring of Honor. I knew he was a bit outgoing, a bit not WWE. I don't want to say material, but some people, we just have a mouth on us. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But super tragic. And, you know, again, nobody else is really talking about it, but shout out to, or my thoughts are with the other family who lost people that day too, because both of the adults were DOA. Someone else lost a family member that day too. I don't know if drugs or alcohol were involved. I know nothing on that end's been released yet, but accidents do happen. It is tragic on both ends. But I like Noah's idea of them retiring those classic titles that they've held like 13 times. And my favorite little thing with them, real quick, my favorite little thing with Jay Briscoe was with Adam Cole. And when he brought his own custom title in, because that thing was just redneck and classic, and I think that needs to go into like the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame, just that championship, because of the impact that one individual, being Jay Briscoe, had on the business. Well, he was there. He was there thick or thin, through the selling, through the fallout, through just all the BS, all the good times, all the bad. Him and his brother Mark. And the next day being Mark's birthday just still shakes me to the core. So, and
lost opportunity by WWE, in the last year or two, not bringing them in, program against the Usos, just throwing that out there. Whatever, WWE. Well said, Colin. Walter, I'm going to pass it over to you now.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone pretty much said it all, but what sucks is I'm 39 years old, and this man was 38. It's just when somebody that close to your age passes away, it like hits you different. It like makes you realize how precious life is and how it can be just gone in an instant, which is why I was so pissed off when Jay and the Usos got in trouble for drunk driving, because it was like this could have easily been them. Like, on the review or one of the videos, I went on a rant about Jay Uso and how like stupid that was to keep doing that, because you can risk your life. And then, I mean, like Colin said, we don't know if drugs or alcohol was involved in this, but just to make that decision and do that is just, it sucks. But rest in peace to him, and condolences to his family. Like maybe they'll maybe they'll do like a tournament in their name and for the ROH titles, but it doesn't look like Warner wants to do that. But maybe somehow if Tony Khan keeps pushing for it, they'll do something. Or as long as we honor him, we'll keep his memory alive. That's the best thing we can do for him.
Tony Khan can do a pay-per-view. Like he can do a pay-per-view and tribute all the proceeds to there's way, and maybe it's so early, you don't want to think of things like that. So we'll see, at some point you think things like that. Yeah. Maybe something good will be done with all that. Well said, Walter. Aaron, going to pass it over to you. See if any super chats came in. Speak on this before we move on.
Anthony sent in a super chat, but it's about the Bloodline storyline. We'll get to that in a few minutes here. Thank you, Anthony. Mr. Tito sent in $5. Thank you, Tito. Much appreciated. He says WWE was okay with Ultimate Warrior's comments and created a Hall of Fame reward for him. He never apologized, but refused to hire Jay, who apologized. So Tito brings up a great point that I will talk about here for a moment. Virtue, you mentioned cancel culture, and I am fine with people being held accountable for things they said, but I do believe in forgiveness. If somebody screws up, I think they have the right to make amends for it. And I think Jay Briscoe did that. And if you read all the comments from people, he was very proactive, and he was somebody who came off as sorry for what he did. The thing with Hulk Hogan is that Hulk Hogan, people think he's insincere about being sorry. He was only sorry because he got caught. But with Jay Briscoe, it felt like he made a legitimate effort to learn from what he said and become a better person from it. It's selective outrage. It is what it is. I feel like depending on who you are, you get a pass. If you're the Ultimate Warrior, you get a pass. If you're Mike Tyson, you get a pass. If you're Jay Briscoe, you don't get a pass. And at the end of the day, it's Warner Brother Discovery's decision who they want on their television shows. But yeah, it's unfortunate that they never allowed him to be part of the show, because he was delivering some really strong matches in Ring of Honor. I never really followed his career, but I did see the Death Before Dishonor match, the dog collar match, and I was very entertained by that match. Excellent match, just a great brawl, lots of blood, very fun and entertaining to watch. And I think that he would have gotten over with the AEW audience for sure. He would have made a lot of money. And I just think it's a shame that he never got his chance to perform on that big stage in front of 1 million plus people. So very sorry for his family, and hopefully his daughters recover. It is a long road for them, but there are encouraging signs for them. And like I mentioned on the Friday night stream, it really makes you think about your life and how you want to make the most out of every day you have. Nothing is guaranteed. Tomorrow is not a guarantee. You could be driving in your car and one idiot could be distracted or under the influence and could come into your lane, and that's it. Life can be very fragile, and it is a wake-up call and a reminder to try to make the most out of your life and tell your loved ones how much you care about them, and just seize the day every day. And that's all I got to say.
All right. And, got to get that in there, and rest in peace, Jay Briscoe. We're going to move on to our discussion, debate type topics here. And the first one I would like to talk about, I don't think we've really talked about it for a few weeks. And, we got to get our Roman Reigns fix on this show is the Bloodline and Sami Zayn, right? He's part of the Bloodline. Is it getting stale? Like, what's everybody's thoughts here? Because on Twitter, I've seen, whether it's fans or podcasters that were used to be in the business, how it goes with them. They're going to say their opinion, their piece on when a payoff should happen or this and that. We know we got a show coming up in Montreal soon. That's a SmackDown, Aaron? Or a Raw?
SmackDown and
February.
SmackDown, SmackDown and Elimination Chamber.
Sammy. I mean, they got is it getting at this point right now? Is it getting stale? Now I know we have a lot to talk about in terms of what WrestleMania is going to end up being, which we'll get to later. But I will come over to you first, Colin, on this one. I originally said get Sammy out of there, and then they started. That was early on, before we saw kind of the interactions, and now Roman was having fun with it, and Jay and all that stuff. And then the whole Jay dynamic went away when he accepted Sammy, and then I was kind of upset with that because I like to see the turmoil. Seems like they're getting back into that a little bit now, so it's kind of where are we at? So what's your opinion here?
So I don't think it's getting stale. For me personally, I'm still digging it because now the tension with Sammy, even though he's not doing anything, it's still interesting to me because the payoff's coming. When's it going to happen? Where is it going to happen? Now we have this, what was supposed to be a tribal celebration or whatever on Monday. Now it's court for Sami Zayn. It's still compelling to me. Again, we've been talking about this for a long time. We knew it was supposed to be over a long time ago, but Sami Zayn has just taken the ball and ran like Forrest Gump with that thing. And kudos to him. I don't want to see it end too soon because there's still some stuff to pay off. How are we going to set up Sammy back with Kevin? How is Roman going to take him out? Are we going to get a one-on-one match with Roman and Sammy? Or is he going to have to go through the bloodline in a gauntlet to get the Roman or something like that? I mean, obviously we've all been talking about for months having Sammy and Kevin team up and take the tag titles from Jimmy and Jay. But for me personally right now, I'm still digging it. I'm still interested. It's still the most interesting thing on SmackDown for me, and as of late Raw, because they've been taking over Raw as well. So
Walter, I'm trying to convince myself here that this is not stale, and that because I would text or tweet or private message Aaron once in a while when something on SmackDown, a backstage segment, pretty much with Roman and Sammy, got my attention. And they kind of went away from that. But like, I like the dynamic of Roman getting sick of Sami, but then Sami talks his way back into it. Or they used Heyman as the crutch, as the conduit this past week, Friday. And Roman like brings it back together, because I feel like at some point Roman's going to kick him out, right? When they're ready. I mean, they could change this, but if that's the end game, I love all the chances Roman keeps giving him. So it's making you think he's like giving Sami all these opportunities, and if Sami's messing up, but yet Roman still finds a reason to keep him in there, it's going to be that extra oomph, I think, when it does happen. And that's what, episodic, keeping it going like a soap opera. What do you think here? Like, I'm trying to talk myself into this not being stale. I'm on the fence.
Yeah, I don't think stale is the right word, but part of it is my own personal anxiety. Just like, damn it, pull the trigger already. Like, I want to see the next chapter.
We want quick payoffs.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but it's my own personal anxiety. But Colin is right. There's a lot of questions left unanswered, and things got to happen. Like, I mean, there's new dynamics. Like, we don't know if that contract actually says Kevin Owens right now. Like, what if he signs Sami Zayn's name on it, or we all assume that it's going to be Sami and KO teaming up. What if it's not? What if it's Sami does get to beat Roman and go one-on-one? Like, sometimes people's reactions dictate things, like what happened with Kofi Mania and how that got him the title shot. So maybe Sami Zayn has become so popular that they'll change the plans and make him go to WrestleMania if the Rock plans fall out. But I mean, we just don't know. But I think it's part of it is that this generation's attention span, including my own, is just like, damn it, pull the trigger already. It's my own anxiety. So it's not that it's stale. It's just we need more patience.
That's a good point. I mean, and that's the thing. I was enjoying. I like the turmoil. Like, I like the turmoil, but yet they were still keeping it together. But there was always, like, when Jay was, Jimmy and Sami were close, but Jay was like, get him out of here. And then Roman, and then they got away from that, right? When Jay finally, like,
the tension just kind of flipped.
Yeah.
Now the tension flipped to Sami and Roman. Yeah.
Tension. Like, that's, and maybe after Friday, they're going back in that direction. And WrestleMania season's coming up, and we're going to talk about the potential plans here. And that could affect all of this. Noah, thoughts here? I know you're keeping up with the Bloodline stuff, right? Everybody is.
I'm pretty sure I've said it countless times, verbatim, Virtue and Aaron's witness. The most interesting two things in the entire wrestling industry for me right now are MJF and Sami Zayn. But as far as this question goes, the key word here is stale. But another word here is, are we impatient? In a society that is so short-tempered when they don't get what they want and they want everything to come right now in a blink of an eye or snap of their fingers, I don't think it's stale as far as it's just taking a different dynamic. I feel for the longest time, even when Sami Zayn was first introduced in the same sentence as the Bloodline, we kind of expected that Sami Zayn was going to be in some capacity of a fairy tale ending as a tag team champion. And I do feel like that is still the end game, with the fact that we're visiting Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns from pandemic. Nobody remembers what the hell happened during that time or how the hell that even happened. With this, though, I don't think it's stale. It's just a different dynamic, because the tension now, it's still surrounded by Sami Zayn, but now it's surrounded by Roman Reigns' confidence, trust, and maybe overall, can he actually, rely on him? We saw what happened in the tag team match, and we saw that fallout where he even apologized. When was the last time Roman Reigns went freaking angry tribal chief versus, calm, cool, and collective? It was his pullout to Sami Zayn in this Kevin Owens Sami Zayn dynamic that brought that out. We got the Royal Rumble coming up. We know that match is official. After that, you got Elimination Chamber. But again, in Canada, will it be Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns one-on-one, trial by fire, blood to be spilled? Or can he use Sami Zayn as an insurance policy, maybe in the Elimination Chamber? Does Roman Reigns defend the title Elimination Chamber? And how does that go into play with that being the last show before WrestleMania? I do still feel like at the end of the day, the Bloodline is still the most relevant, talked about thing in WWE history, and Sami Zayn keeps that going. The fact they're now using them on Raw proves that, because Raw has no key player, no top champion, no key direction. it comes down to me what they have after WrestleMania, but I don't think this is stale. It's just one of those things like, okay, folks, when was the last time you watched your favorite series waiting for the next episode on Hulu or Netflix? When was the last time somebody kept up with a freaking original sitcom series like Friends or How I Met Your Mother? When was the last time your freaking parents kept up with a soap opera like freaking As the World Turns on CBS, waiting for that person to finally say it, pop the question, give us the damn moment? Unfortunately, patience is a virtue, and you have it or you don't, and you got to learn it. I don't think it's stale. I think it's just waiting for the end game, and I think it's going to happen at WrestleMania. It's just a matter of how up to that point.
And
Yeah,
we're going to go ahead.
I was going to say, it's funny because we always go, we want long-term storytelling. We want long-term storytelling. Then they do it, and then we're like, hurry up with it. So it's like
the problem is they let Roman have both title belts, and they haven't found a way to get out of that. Because think about it, if they have whoever beats him down the road beat him, they're still going to have the same problem if that person wins both belts. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine, with everything that's happened with Sami Zayn in the past week or so, if the Owens and Roman Reigns match at Royal Rumble was just for the WWE title? Because now wrestling fans are thinking they might take that title off of him here, so they don't have that problem. Roman still has the other title that he could well get to 1,000 days, which is what's on a lot of people's mind. It's just unbelievable that they can't fathom these little simple things. And I know people will argue, well, Owens shouldn't have one of the major titles. Like, that's something Tito would say. But at least you would split them back up. And we're going to have more answers, Noah, after the Royal Rumble here, right? And exactly. We're going to talk about that kind of soon. Aaron, what else would you like to – we had to get the Bloodline discussion in here. You know, Roman's always a big part of the show. And one day, Aaron, this Bloodline thing is going to be over. Roman's probably going to take some time off, and we're going to have to wait. So let's get it all in while we can. Strike while the iron is hot, like you like to say.
I agree. Anthony sent in a $5 super chat, so let's get to that. He says, Kevin Owens being involved in the Bloodline storyline. Can you see Sami Zayn winning a title and feuding with KO over the title? He meant to say KO. Says it could be awesome. I do not think they're going to be feuding. I think they will be reuniting. I think that is the payoff to all this. Now, the question is, will WWE do something crazy like put Sami Zayn in the main event of WrestleMania against Roman Reigns? I do not think that's happening, although with every week that passes, it seems like people are getting more and more interested in seeing Sami Zayn kick Roman Reigns' ass. Now, we do have Elimination Chamber coming up in Montreal, and I could see Roman Reigns facing Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber. That's my prediction. And then I think it will be Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens going up against the Usos at WrestleMania. And there was a comment a few days ago, one of the streams I did, somebody brought up the idea of the Usos versus KO and Zayn main eventing night 1 of WrestleMania, and then Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns on night 2. I like that idea. With all the time that has been dedicated to the storyline, like, I'd love to see that as the main event of night 1. They could possibly have the greatest tag team match of all time at WrestleMania. You know the Usos are great. You know Sami and KO are great. If they went out there in the main event of WrestleMania, they could have the greatest tag team match in WWE for sure. And, you know, I would make a strong argument for all time if it's at the main event of WrestleMania. So that's what I think is going to happen. Not necessarily the main event spot, but KO and Sami Zayn versus the Usos at WrestleMania. I'm sticking with that. I think they're just trying to get to that point, and they're throwing in little twists and turns where Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns might have an off night, but then they're cool again, and they keep teasing it. But yeah, I think WrestleMania is ultimately the end game, and it's just the fact that it's mid-January that we still have to wait a little bit longer. Royal Rumble, I expect some fireworks, and then Elimination Chamber could be a hell of a show with Sami Zayn possibly challenging for the title in Montreal, or maybe even going into Elimination Chamber. Not sure what they're going to do yet, Virtue. We still have the whole deal with the titles, as you mentioned. So we'll see if they get split for WrestleMania or not. But my prediction at this time, I don't think The Rock's going to be at WrestleMania. I think it's going to be Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns and the Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
That
Imagine
really would be
the tension.
historic, considering tag team wrestling has never been the main event of
No.
WrestleMania. It would be a first, and I think it also would be a nice nod out to Jay Briscoe, who has a foundation for tag team wrestling since the Briscoes main evented Ring of Honor pay-per-views. I mean, Triple H's Black and Gold NXT, the takeovers were their WrestleManias. Even they had tag team championship matches main events.
Yeah.
So for WWE to always be about first, that would be a very unique first.
Good point there, Noah. And two more things before we move on. I disagree with Roy. I absolutely disagree. I do not think Roman Reigns should be vacating the titles after holding them for so long. You're missing out on somebody getting over by beating Roman Reigns. And Walter, your head's cut off. That's the other thing.
Yeah, you're like super close to us.
It's
Walter
WrestleMania
3D.
1. WrestleMania 1 wasn't a main event a tag team match? Wasn't it Hulk Hogan and Mr. T, or Roddy Piper and Mr. T and Hulk Hogan? Yeah.
Yeah, but that was also how many years ago?
WrestleMania 1. Yeah.
And there are no tag titles involved.
Yeah. I mean, some tension could be caused, like Sami Zayn could end up eliminating one of the Usos from Royal Rumble, and there you go, or something.
So what happened with this Sami Uso, him becoming Sami Uso thing? Because, like, what if at the end of this trial, since it is a court thing, trial, whatever, what if they want to stretch it a little bit longer and finally make him at the end of it, thinking it's going to go real bad? They make him officially Sami Uso, and then in Montreal, that's when they turn on him. Like, it could if they want to stretch it a little bit more, they still have that card in because they've never made him officially Sami Uso. Who knows?
Right.
That's true.
Good point.
Yeah.
But I think
That's
we're
not a
going to
bad
see
idea.
something happen at the Royal Rumble in that Kevin Owens match with Roman Reigns. I feel like there's going to be some kind of shenanigans involving Sami Zayn.
And I do feel like, Aaron, your WrestleMania idea would be the absolute best payoff to culminate Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn becoming tag team champions.
Oh, yeah. I would love to see it. Like them winning the titles to close out. It elevates everybody. It elevates Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. It elevates the tag team titles. It elevates the tag team division. Like that would be huge. And they haven't done it yet, Noah, in a tag team title main event scenario.
Exactly.
Ready for the main event?
Let's do it.
All right. So we know that Cody Rhodes is returning at the Royal Rumble, right? Okay. I didn't overlook that. That's what they're promoting, right?
Yes.
So, and we hear these things. Thanks for the wrestling dirt sheets. Like, The Rock, he's not going to be ready. He said it himself. And, where it's not going to happen. But of course, they still say never, right? I remember Aaron once saying that was the first sure not the first sure main event, but he was leaning towards that. Then these other reports come out. Now he's settling with the safe bet, Cody. Until the Roman Reigns versus anybody but The Rock is actually billed, I ain't buying it. If somebody wins the Royal Rumble like Cody Rhodes, I'm still not buying it yet because Rock could come back at some point and cost Roman the titles so they could still have their match. So until Roman is officially billed against somebody not named The Rock through WWE, I still say The Rock will be there. But has Cody, because of what we've learned the past week, become the number one A option? The number one A. The A option, the number one option. So, Noah, I'm going to start with you here. If we don't see The Rock, which would be a huge lost opportunity for WWE, for The Rock, just because I couldn't fathom them not knowing long-term, and The Rock can't figure out his schedule and being in shape. That's why I can't buy this because of WrestleMania being in Hollywood, being so huge, the bloodline, the blood. I can't see any other main event. And when I started throwing out who would I like to see, what are the scenarios? If it's not Rock and Roman, I had Cody and Roman as one of them because Cody coming back, win the Rumble, there's your match. But that wasn't even my option right behind Rock. I say Seth Rollins because I want to see And why do I see him? Because I'm on this whole tangent of let's have Becky and Seth win the Royal Rumble matches and piss people off. Like that's why. And Seth deserves it. Him and Roman have history. There's a story to tell there. The last time they had a title match, didn't Seth kind of get screwed out of the whole scenario? Didn't he win by disqualification or something like that? And the reason why I hold Cody back is because in my grand scheme of things, you put Cody's the one to beat Roman and take the titles, SummerSlam, whenever. I just don't want to see it at WrestleMania. I want Roman to go through one more WrestleMania. So maybe there's a little bias there. Noah, is Cody the A option?
At this point, I think so. I mean, they've been billing him every week while he's been recovering after his incredible, superhuman performance at Hell in a Cell last year with the torn pectoral muscle against Seth Rollins, completing the hat trick of matches with him. But besides Cody at this point, and if The Rock is reportedly not going to be there, the only two names I can think of is what they're billing right now on Monday Night Raw, this brewing feud with the Judgment Day, still a stupid name, Finn Balor, because Finn Balor never faced Roman Reigns for the title. It was the Demon who lost due to shenanigans. Or, like you said, Seth Rollins, because it was 1 year ago, excuse me, at the Royal Rumble, he faced him in the opener, but again, disqualification, Roman Reigns lost his temper. So there still is something to go there. At this point, those are the only four I could think of that could have a WrestleMania match with Roman. Rock, Cody, Seth, and Finn. I can't see anybody else in this company right now that makes sense or could be a big, oh my effing G factor that literally could be the guy. So at this point, you look at the most suitable one that you've been billing to the most on this road to recovery and maybe the ultimate redemption and accomplishment in the name of his family plan. I'm going to say A-, because again, reportedly, until I see something official, I'm still holding out for The Rock because it's WrestleMania goes Hollywood. Yeah. Duh. But at this point, yeah, I gotta think it's Cody. I can't see anybody else. Finn Balor, a big maybe. Seth Rollins, most conscious plan B. If that, he was the plan B that broke the Shield, which Triple H said is always a plan B. But yeah, who else do you put in that spot right now that's believable and marketable enough in the storytelling and the build than Cody?
And you got Sami Zayn always in the mix, but like I just don't see that. There's no way they're going Brock again. Cena and Roman have done their thing. So as big a names as those guys are, right, and that would be Tito's argument. Stone Cold's not, as much as we'd all love to see Stone Cold and Roman, unless it's designed like what happened with Owens last year, I just can't see that happening. So without The Rock, I think of the workers. I think of Cody. I think of Seth. And you can even throw Sammy in there as like the third tier. Colin, could we get, is there a possibility, if this is Cody's path, could we get a triple threat and there's no Rock? Could we get a triple threat? Could we get Cody, Rollins, Reigns, or something, or Sammy, Cody, and Reigns? Could WrestleMania's main event be a triple threat match? It's happened before a couple of years ago.
The only way I would want to see a triple threat match is if we had a scenario similar to Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, and Chris Jericho from WrestleManias years ago, when the first fall was for the Intercontinental Championship. In this case, it'd be for the WWE Championship, and then the second fall was for the European, with this case scenario, the Universal. That's the only way I want to see a triple threat go down at Mania. I mean, a couple of years ago when we had Edge and Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, it was cool, double stack, but we've had a lot of triple threats, especially if you count the women's matches over the years too. We've had quite a few triple threat matches. So I want to keep them to a bare minimum here. If The Rock is not number one, option A, Cody's got to be option B. I do like Seth, but Seth's going to have to step it up a little bit more if that's going to be the case. I know right now his gimmick is the sing my song and all that stuff. I love it. He's
Maniacal
super
Monday Night Messiah.
He's super over with the crowd again. It's not going to be Brock Lesnar, because Brock Lesnar is probably going to finish up his beef with Lashley sometime soon, or around the Twitter sphere, he might be going into a program with Walter. Walter is Gunther.
Right.
Shut up. You know,
Damn it, Colin.
some things never die. Okay, so but Gunther, he has promised, but I feel he needs a lot more work between now and then. Maybe next Mania, number 40. But yeah, so Sami would be fun. Sami would make a lot of the, I don't want to say indie darlings, but I'm going to. Super happy. I like Sami. I like El Generico. I've always liked him. But again, I don't see him, besides what he's been doing with Roman and the boys over the last 6-8 months, whatever it's been. I don't see him as that caliber in a singles competitor. Like what we talked about earlier, the tag division being main event, cool, all day, let's do it. But solo, I don't know. I'm hoping for I didn't see that coming moment, to be honest with you, because this whole Rhodes to Raw deal is the next night looking like it's going to be Rhodes to Mania. Like that's going to be the new video package. Book it. I don't know, man. I'm more interested into who's coming back for the Rumble, to be completely honest with you, because I want to see some cool legends come back and some people that deserve it.
I only want to see that if there's somebody capable of winning. That to me, like Brock hasn't been gone that long, so he's back in the Rumble, and so like to me, like if Austin Music hit at number 30 or The Rock, that's to anybody else. Nostalgic. We know they're going to get thrown over, and you can have a couple of them.
Yeah. Earlier
in the match. Now, what about this, Colin? Could we have a double winner of the Royal? Could two people flip over and hit at the same time, and now you got a night one? One's going to get a WWE title shot, and the other one's going to get a Universal title shot. Aaron's theory was right all along. Night 1, night 2, Roman, you're working both nights.
Right.
Man,
as long as it plays out better than Lex Luger and Bret Hart, or what was that?
John Cena.
Yeah. I remember Batista. I just couldn't see who was in the picture with him. But that's the only if it's two guys, let's just say, okay, Cody and who? Cody and Sami?
Seth Rollins or
Cody and Sami? Like, or do we see a complete wild card here? Think
about this. Now, we know Vince is back, but he's back in the board and he's not back in creative. So this is a Triple H decision. But how much influence has Vince had all along? And what, like, if he was there and had, like, what would he put in a night 2 WrestleMania main event? Rollins and Roman, Cody and Roman, Sami and Roman, like that. It's more likely because Triple H, right? Mm-hmm. But how much this is going to be interesting to see who wins the Rumble and how all this plays out, because then we're going to be able to figure out if Vince McMahon is back pulling his little decisions or influencing who is in charge. Because to me, like if Vince is not for sure, that's why I bring triple threats up, because the one year at Edge and Daniel Bryan, because he probably couldn't make up his mind who he wanted to face Roman in the main event. So let's have a multiple person match. I don't know.
I mean,
honestly, that's the only way we get Brock. You were talking about Brock. If Vince is in charge, you'll see Brock again, probably.
I could see if Vince did have pull on night 2 main event, I could see him doing another Cena Roman, even though Roman's beat him the last 2 times at pay-per-views, one being a SummerSlam. I could see that scenario because that hasn't happened as many times as Brock and Roman. But, man, this is where we're at. And does this make the Royal Rumble more intriguing for next week? Walter, it's your turn now.
It does make it intriguing. One X Factor everybody's forgetting about is Solo. Like, if you notice, Solo doesn't join his brothers when they're doing all the high-fiving and doing Sami. Solo can have this whole plan in the back of his head. You can start the story all over, and he challenges Roman. All he's got to say is, the way you treated my brothers to get them to join the Bloodline before they acknowledged you, you beat the hell out of them. You did these power trips. You try to turn Jay in the main event, Jay. I mean, there's stories here that you could that people don't even think of. Solo could be a hidden gem in here. You want to talk about major surprises? Who would see that coming if Solo did something like that? And then you kick Roman out. He takes his little vacation. Then you got faces of the Bloodline, and the three Usos are brothers, and they stick together as the Bloodline. Like, imagine something like that. Like, it's just that would be shocking, but I don't think WWE would ever do something like that. But I'm just saying stuff for shock value. Like, who wouldn't have their jaw open if Solo did that? Like, no one saw that. That would be some way left field stuff.
Well, I could see
that sounds like a Bullet Club takeover.
Walter, like, yeah, like, so remember how all those times the Bullet Club leader would lose, and then like the main show after the pay-per-view, they would kick the other old guy out because he'd be coming over to the States. I could see that, like, when Roman loses the titles and he's going to be on hiatus, if that's his plan, that like on a Raw or SmackDown, Solo does that. To put Roman out, like, in that kind of an angle. I can't see it happening to lead up to a big time match. Just Solo's not ready for that.
Right? Yeah, but he might not be ready, right? But I think by default, Cody has to be the A option. Like, it's the only thing that fits. It's like by default, and because the whole, the media and the merchandise, everything's behind Cody right now. They're pushing all these videos. It's like you have to think about what is the point of all that if he's not the one,
right?
But I'm with Virtue. I don't believe nothing until it happens. Like,
I'm gonna die on that Rock Reigns limb until it breaks.
It's not like we've never been trolled before. All that I need to get a ring straight. We've been trolled before.
Once in a lifetime.
Yeah, exactly. Once in a lifetime. How many times has Jericho said he wasn't going to come back and he showed up at a Royal Rumble or he came back? Like that. I really think the Rock, and I don't think they're going to let that money. It's too big marquee. It's too much money. Like maybe they'll play around with the wording of it, but they're gonna do it. And I just feel like until WrestleMania comes and I don't see them actually main eventing, that's when I won't believe it anymore. But the Rock has got to be in there.
Honestly, Virtue, if they didn't pull the trigger at Country Redacted and he didn't get injured, I would have saw Logan Paul probably be a first ballot pick for WrestleMania.
That's a good point.
And don't think The Rock doesn't have a ring at his house where he can get in ring shape. Like, don't let that fool you. He probably has a ring assembled right at his house. He's got that big ass gym. There's a ring somewhere around him.
And I want the biggest box office draw, too. But like when that happened, and I think Rock and Roman would have a good match because Rock has proved it with Hogan and Austin at WrestleMania. So if everyone's worried about, Roman really needs a good partner to put a good match just because of his style and his moveset, I think that would be one of those matches that people are underwhelmed by, like the Lesnar and Roman Reigns matches. Although, look what happened when they threw a gimmick into the Lesnar Reigns match at SummerSlam. All of a sudden, now we talk about it as a great match because of the bulldozer or whatever that was. The reason why Tito's like bored with these, Rollinses and Sami Zayn's and Cody's, but like, let's be honest, marquee wise, that's not what WWE would want, but it's going to produce, like, for the wrestling fans, probably Roman's best match if he goes against somebody like that, because Cody and Rollins, they're going to make sure that match is for the wrestling fans. They're going to want to do a big, especially Cody, FU to AEW and that fan base and put on a classic. I don't know. So much to, Royal Rumble next weekend. We're going to have a lot of answers after it's all done. Hopefully they don't linger a tease, but Aaron, Cody Rhodes plan A, what do you think?
I mean, I felt that way since Hell in a Cell when he put that performance out there against Seth Rollins. I felt like he was a made man. I said it then and I say it now. I think everybody knows that this guy is the real deal. And when he possibly wins the WWE title, he will be a workhorse. He will go out there and defend the title on a regular basis. He'll be a fighting champion. He'll be the face of the company. He'll do the media interviews. You have to think about that. Like, who is going to be that guy? I love Sami Zayn, but is he that guy that's going to do all the media appearances and wear the suit and everything like Cody does? You have to keep this all in mind. Who's going to be the guy that beats Roman Reigns and is going to be the face? I think Cody is their best bet at this time. The Rock was never going to beat Roman Reigns. If that match does happen, I would expect Roman Reigns to win. Same thing with Steve Austin. If Steve Austin, all this training he's doing is leading to a surprise Royal Rumble appearance and he wins it and he goes on to WrestleMania, he's not beating Roman Reigns either. So really, Cody Rhodes is your A option of the current guys that they have. Now, you do have a few other possibilities like Seth Rollins, as we've mentioned. He's been very over as a babyface. You have Sami Zayn, but I don't think that's the direction. Cody is the direction that seems the most logical at this point. And we did have Solo Sikoa mentioned earlier by Walter, I think. And the boy Fernando brought it up. Could Solo versus Roman Reigns be an option? Not at WrestleMania. I think it's too soon for Solo. He's doing really well for himself, but I don't think he's going to be put in that kind of position just yet. But maybe a year or two down the line? Could be. Remember, Batista came up to the main roster in 2002, and he did not win the title until 2005. I think with Solo, they're going to give him some time to continue working with guys and gaining more experience before they consider putting him in a main event scenario. As Tito said, too green. He also says Pepsi is disgusting. So not sure what to make of Tito at this point.
Aaron, do you like Pepsi?
Well, I'm at the Pepsi factory, so. Yeah.
I do too. As an 80s kid, I preferred Pepsi over Coke.
I will always prefer Pepsi Pros over Coca-Cola Pros. Every restaurant I go to has Coca-Cola Pros. I'm like, screw you.
Oh, wow. Well, I like Coke Zero. But
that's iffy.
Yeah, I mean, I like Diet Pepsi more than any of them. So there you go.
I don't do diet anything.
Right, you're all about the Mountain Dew, man.
Mountain Dew, Pepsi Cherry. We could go on a different conversation about that later.
But wait a minute, you're not drinking Mountain Dew.
No, I'm drinking Burners because I told you, upset stomach.
That's the worst ginger ale.
And
it dries the worst ginger ale, but let's save that conversation for another day.
Don't forget there used to be RC Cola.
I love RC Cola. That's what I've been waiting to say. I love a good cheap pop.
Those are all the ones at the cookouts. The RC Cola.
Mm-hmm.
I like Faygo.
Faygo. Yeah.
Faygo like strawberry and that kind of
big red pop.
Weird,
big red
pop. There we go. Now you're talking my language.
We're going to talk about the details of the Royal Rumble predictions, obviously, when Aaron does the predictions video next Thursday night. So, so stay tuned for that, because the end of the Royal Rumble, if WWE has the right people in there for once, could be very fun to watch. And again, we're not going to talk about that because that's what Thursday's about, but it could be a fun Royal Rumble this year, and I hope it is.
I'm honestly looking more forward to this year's Royal Rumble than I was last year. Based on the graphic alone, you already got a lot more single-based competitors in this thing than a bunch of tag teams just thrown in. And already this Royal Rumble, it does have some intrigue to what if. It doesn't feel completely one-dimensional. It doesn't feel like a straightforward picture. I like that.
Yeah, the last 4 or 5 Rumbles have been a little underwhelming. Like, I haven't really liked the last
2020.
Not even that one. But that's
Edge?
More because of the crowd. That's more because of the crowd, though. Edge is an okay winner. I'm like I said, I've said this before. I'm tired of the repeat winners.
2020, not 2021.
Yeah, I know. 2020 didn't have the crowd, right?
2020 had the crowd, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
That's when Edge came back and got the huge reaction.
Oh, yeah, all right.
I'm just not a fan of eliminated Brock Lesnar. You didn't think that was a good Royal Rumble?
Not compared to some of the older ones. 92 is the best one ever, in my opinion.
I agree on that.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's just something about it. And plus, I'm not a big fan of the repeat winners. I want somebody unexpected. Or even if you do expect it, like Cody, if you do the journey the right way, then it's okay. But I'm just tired of the repeat winners. Throw new people out there.
And let's face it, Cody, he's a plan A in the sense that he left WWE, did his thing, was one of the founding fathers of AEW, and Vince McMahon has him back and can put him on the WWE trucks as a WWE champion. That's why I've said, no matter how the WrestleMania scenario plays out, I'm putting Cody as a champion after that anyway. I see it happening. But
bar none.
Yeah, we'll see.
And like Aaron said, we definitely see Cody doing the media tours. It just fits him, his personality. Right. So yeah, it makes sense to make him the champ. Yeah. But whether he'll be undisputed or they'll split it with him,
Cody could be the new face of the WWE.
Yeah.
And if it's going to happen, now's the time. He's coming off the injury with all the momentum in the world. He had that historic performance at Hell in a Cell. It reminds me a lot of Triple H's comeback at the start of 2002 when he was injured and they did the videos and hyped him up and he came back. And hopefully, I'm thinking Cody will most certainly have a better showing at WrestleMania than Triple H and Chris Jericho did. That match, unfortunately, did not live up to the hype, in my opinion.
Underwhelming.
He might be an early, just because of the video and the hype and the story that he overcomes so many things. He's probably going to be an early entrant, so that he has to overcome something else.
What ruined the Jericho Triple H match? Obviously, right? They had to follow Rock and Hogan.
Yep.
They put Stephanie with Jericho after their history, and it just took the buzz. Like that just was not. It just took the buzz away. I just
remember Lucy the dog.
Yeah, like that to me, and those guys. That was just bad.
The worst missed opportunity is Booker T versus Triple H, because you should have had Booker T beat him. That's the worst, especially a pedigree that then lays you out for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever the hell it was.
And especially with all those promos, the Triple H promos towards Booker T, like people like you don't become world champion.
Yeah, they almost wrote it so that Booker T can overcome it, and then it's like they changed their mind at the last second or something.
Yeah,
politics. Yeah. Aaron, any other super chats, or are we ready to go around and do our plugs, and we'll see if we can get out of here, or if After Dark kicks in.
Yeah, we do have a few more super chats, so we'll get to those. Building Nexus sent in $2 and said The Rock could do something else at WrestleMania, and you know what? I think he will be there.
Yeah.
I think he will do something. Could he be the guest referee for Roman Reigns versus Cody
I would buy that. Like if the match doesn't happen, but The Rock's the referee for Roman and Cody, like that should have been my plan B. Like
now,
I would take that, Aaron.
Some people, I've seen some comments about that. Some people think The Rock would take away from Cody. He would hog the spotlight, but I don't necessarily think that would be the case. And I think a big mainstream moment would be The Rock holding up Cody Rhodes. Keep in mind, The Rock is the biggest movie star in the world. He's a household name. He holds up Cody Rhodes' hand at the end of WrestleMania, and then they have all the photos that go to all the media outlets and ESPN and Entertainment Weekly and all these different news channels. Like they show that still of The Rock holding up Cody Rhodes' hand. Like that's a lot of mainstream publicity for WWE.
Or that match happens, but Roman beats Cody to keep the titles, and when everything's said and done, before it goes off the air, Rock's holding Roman's hand up and Rock bottoms him to close WrestleMania. And that's assuming that they could work out that match for SummerSlam, so The Rock has more time to get ready if the reports are right. Again, until another match is booked for Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, I'm going to die on that Rock branch.
There might be
even
a lot
where
of
I would
pushback,
think that it would happen down the road still. Look, I'm trying to hold on to it.
Right.
There'll be a lot of pushback.
Bloodline, dude, it's there. How do you
if you got The Rock going to WrestleMania and it's some other capacity other than fighting Roman, there'll be a lot of pushback. They'll be like, what the hell would be the point of him being there and not to fight Roman?
People would still be excited for Cody winning the Rumble and facing Roman, though. Like, I don't know.
They'll be excited, but there'll be a lot of pushback.
And again, I disagree with Roy. Sorry, Roy, you and I are very different with our takes, but The Rock should not be beating Roman Reigns because he's only doing one match. And I'm not a fan of him winning the title and then forfeiting it or vacating it. Not a fan.
Oh, there you go, Aaron. Hey, The Rock, I know we want Cody to win clean. Oh, no, it would have to be. Yeah, because we wouldn't want, like, The Rock to be the special referee and that he turns on Roman to help Cody, because that wouldn't be good for Cody. But that could set up The Rock and Roman with no titles for SummerSlam, but it probably, I don't know.
If Rock faces Roman, Roman's got to go over because you got to do the head of the table story that he beat the entire blood. There's no way you can let. I know they're like, oh, why would Rock come back to lose? There's no way that The Rock can beat him. There's no way. It wouldn't make sense.
I wish they were related because then we wouldn't be having this discussion.
Yeah, as long as they don't try and book Roman versus The Rock 1 year in the future.
No. and not in Hollywood. How weird would that have been? All right, Aaron,
exactly.
any other super chats?
Yeah. What about Pat McAfee as an
I
opponent
like
for Roman
Pat
Reigns?
McAfee.
I mean, that would be entertaining, and he's got the mainstream cred, so he would bring
He
in some
wins the Royal
eyeballs.
Rumble.
He'd have a great
He
match.
did carry Logan Paul, so he could probably carry Pat. So
Yeah. All right. The This Guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat. Says this proves that Vince failed to make new big stars. What is this, Mr. Tito? What do you guys think about that comment? That we're all
Well,
talking
Tito
about
would
all
say
these
Triple
past
H.
people.
Tito would say Triple H failed to make new big stars. There's a little difference there from those two guys.
Gotcha.
Whatever.
Darren G sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Darren. Much appreciated. It says, today in history, Shawn Michaels returned from losing his smile and won the Royal Rumble in 1996. Awesome panel. I always enjoy the reviews. Hashtag say yes to NoDQ.com. By the way, the losing the smile was in 97, but he's talking about when Owen Hart injured him and then Shawn came back for the Royal Rumble. And
he passed out with the Insecurity or whatever, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, he did lose his smile because he gave up the IC title in October of 95 when he got attacked by those, Marines or I forgot who they were exactly, but like he got beat up in that bar and he had to relinquish the title. And he was very sad as Dean Douglas grabbed the title and then Razor came out and beat him. And
he hit on the wrong woman, and that's now the military hit on him.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. Shawn got beat up and he was
around
very
and found
sad.
out.
He did lose his smile on. That was the first time he lost his smile. But the official losing his smile was when he relinquished the WWE title in February, the Raw Thursday in 97. So anyways.
Yeah, because
he
had like an injury, and rumor has it that he didn't want to do the job or blah, blah, blah. Who knows what really happened. But yeah, that's when all that
career-ending
went down.
injury he almost had.
When?
Right before WrestleMania, when he was reportedly going to drop the title to Bret Hart.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, in his mind, it was a career-ending injury,
Yeah.
Allegedly.
All right, are we caught up, Aaron?
Yes, we are.
Let's go around and do our plugs. Noah, thanks for being on the show. It's been a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's been a moment, but I'll see what time allows. I'll definitely try and be back more often. Always fun, guys. People want to know more about me. Know this. I'm just a simple man, lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it. Find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and Foster 1916. For all things wrestling, shout, of course, to my entire HW family on the Twitter. Stay tuned across my channel and the Jet Beecham Network, Multiverse Media. We did our open mic night last night. I'll be doing live play coverage of the 30th anniversary Monday Night Raw, as well as the Royal Rumble this Saturday, as well as on my super YouTube channel this Saturday, a Simply Predicting live panel based on you, the NoDQ Galaxy, your opinions matter, of course. As, of course, we start the 2023 WWE Predictions League. So stay tuned for that, NoDQ Galaxy. Aaron, I'll see you Thursday for the Team NoDQ panel as well. And, of course, so much more to come, too, in all things wrestling. But as always, let it conclude, there are no winners, no losers, no betters. Just fans with opinions for this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality, too. And, again, treasure your families. And just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It's as simple as that.
Good having you on, as always. All right, Walter Cruz, do your shtick.
All right. A video that's just over an hour with me and Noah on it. Who would have thought? But anyway, you could follow me on Instagram at Calfire Farms. There's the spelling of it and the content. And also I'm on Twitter. My name right now has the handle. It's at Walter Alex Cruz. And that's it for me. And thanks for having me again.
Yep.
Good having you on. Colin the Cleaver Andrew, over to you.
You can follow me on Twitter at NoDQ Colin Andrew. You can follow me on YouTube at The Cleaver NoDQ. Make sure to check out NoDQ's merch at nodq.com/merch. You can buy this fly hat that I'm wearing, the shirt that Walter's wearing, and plenty of other awesome merch. Hopefully sometime, since it's still winter, maybe we can get some beanies back up on that bitch. But because those are always coming clutch, especially when it's 30 degrees and snowing outside. So
Exactly.
Wait.
A cat cameo?
Yep. Hi, Tilly. This is Tilly.
Cat cameo.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, we got a meow on camera. Now this
Yeah.
is officially the greatest no DQ review of all time.
So, but yeah, thanks for having me. Noah, thanks again for tackling the reins for prediction panel
Yes.
this year again, because you always do a banger of a
Yep.
job. So, but until next time.
Yeah, we cannot let Sun win 3 years in a row.
I know. We got to step up our game here. God.
Legend. He's legend over there.
He is, man.
He
is,
knows
so-
somebody in creative.
Clearly.
Just copy
Good
his
having
note.
you on, Colin. As always, you know you're welcome here every week.
Thanks,
Shout out
buddy.
to Robbie Weiss, who was not, who
Mhm.
was going to be on tonight and who was a little under the weather. We'll get Robbie Weiss back at some point. Same with Vito.
Yeah.
Vito's
sure.
kind of taking his time. It's he's down in Florida, and this time of year it's only like 45, 50 degrees down there. He's like that. He doesn't do much until it warms up outside, but whatever. All right, Aaron, over to you.
Again, much appreciation to Noah for doing the No DQ Predictions League. Make sure you guys follow him. People always ask, can I be part of the Predictions League? He has a No DQ Galaxy League. So make sure you guys reach out to him over on Twitter at nfoster1916, correct?
Yep. Also, they could, because I know people are social media anxious, which I don't blame them. Elon Musk. I will also be posting forums and updates under my community feed that I now have on my YouTube channel.
All right. Cool. Sounds good, man. You guys make sure you follow that. And this Thursday night, we will be locking in our final predictions for the 2023 Royal Rumble Premium Live event. That should be a lot of fun.
I'm holding you to that, Aaron.
Yeah, we got Raw.
I might be on that
coming
one.
up.
I might be on that one, Aaron. I got to think about it.
You got
All right,
flavor
yeah.
here?
It's going to be a barn burner for sure. This Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And of course, nodq.com/merch. As mentioned earlier, you can get all of the great wrestling merchandise that promotes nodq.com. And on that note, we'll throw it over to Virtue.
We'll make it short and sweet. We'll get out of here in a respectable time. There's some of my merch. It's all over, like Colin and Aaron plugged over on nodq.com/merch. The whole Virtue collection is over there. But that's it. Follow me on Twitter at nodq_virtue. Another great edition of the NoDQ review. Thank you, Aaron Rift, Colin, Walter, and Noah, and everybody else, Robbie Weiss, and the whole crew. We'll see you again next week, NoDQ Galaxy. Good night, everybody.
Have a good night, folks.